As we are approaching the end of the season for harvesting, I think we have all seen that there's a need or demand for the harvester installations. Today, we are going to a little bit discuss how to properly install our Svea F100 to harvesters. Mainly, actually, we are talking about the combine harvesters, but in generally, you can talk the vehicles, agricultural vehicles steered in the rear axle, like combine harvesters. So what we will have here is truly applicable to the other types of harvesters, but we will focus on the combine harvester because we will see mainly these types of vehicle. So let's start with our presentation. How to install our system on a combine harvester. Before starting that, actually, we should maybe, for some of us, should know a little bit about the harvester. What is harvester? Actually, harvester is a combination of one process, single process, combining all of these 4 different tasks. So you should grab all the crops or any other things in the field. So, and then you can diminish, or that is the terminologically reaping, threshing, gathering, or winnowing. The harvester is such a machine that you can directly do all of these 4 actions in one process. So as you see, the yellow comes from the field to the machine inside, and then it is distinguished between the crops and the other parts, and then using the forced air and storing in the grain tank on top of it. So basically the harvester is something like this, actually. So, but the characteristic of this machine or vehicle is like this. Normally we are talking about the self-propelled combine harvesters, because there are harvesters side to the tractor by side, or we are talking about the rear axle steering vehicles, which is so important for the installation of the angle sensor position, because the steering wheel is our concern here. So harvesters are mainly doing their job with a average speed of around 4 to 6 kilometers per hour in fields, and the batteries are within the body in the middle parts somewhere here. So, and of course, these types of machineries may have different types of traction control system in the front as well. So mostly, depending on the region, you may see this type of tires and the other types of pallets. But the thing here is to understand, what we understand is the steering angle may different from each other. So we are mainly experienced with the tractors, but the harvesters may not always turn like a tractor. It's a big machinery. So actually the traction and the ground forces, or the whole kilogram force to the ground, may be lowered by this way. So it's a heavy machine, but it really doesn't matter for our system. It doesn't much affecting the parameters that much. So all of them are nearly equal or very close to each other by means of parameters of the values. So let's start with the installation. And the first thing, actually, the battery group is somehow a little bit in the middle of the body. So if you cannot find any place within the cabin to power up the system, you should use an extra photovoltaic cables, DC cables, to bring the power from the battery to the cabin inside. So these are the latest installation in the field, actually, especially in Poland and Belgium. So we have also installed more than 30 units so far in this season to the harvesters. So if we are talking about the energy side, in order to get energized, either we use this type of cable. It should be around 10 meter and double 4 millimeter square photovoltaic cable, which is DC cable, and plastic protection pipe should be both from the market. So in order to bring this energy inside the cabin, or if you are very sure or have the knowledge about the power system of the vehicle, you may also use the control box or the fuses side to take your power to our system. So on the other hand, the installation of the steering column is a little bit different from the tractors. There are more space here, and the long versions, either we will use this type of U clamp, or there might be some modification of our brackets to fix the motor to the steering column. So at the end, we should close the plastic covers and not let the cables to the around or mess. Then you can also fix that cable just beside the plastic cover under steering column. So the angle sensor position, as I said, should be on the rear axle, but here we should be aware that we are using a standard boxes, and most of the time the machineries are bigger and long enough. That's why at the beginning you don't have the extension cable to reach the attitude angle sensor from the cabin to the rear axle. That's why at the beginning the installation, most probably, or 90%, will be done without angle sensor, no angle sensor mode, let's say, in other words. But you can also purchase the extension cables depending on your type of or baud rate of the angle sensor, which you already know that there are two different types of angle sensor. One is the 500K, the other one is 1 mega, the 12 pins or 4 pins. So in order to have these types of extension cable to properly install the system on a harvester, you may need some main cables, depending on the position of every component on the system. Either it can be the tablet itself, or the steering motor, or the harness for angle sensor. So you can directly order from sales departments or directly to your stores before the season. These types of extension cables may help you your installation easier. Please keep in mind that, or take your notes that we have extension cables for every part on the system. On the other hand, the other part component is the antenna. The antenna should not be so close or under the grain tank, because when it is opened, there might be some signal cutoff issue if it is installed to the behind of the cabin or rear, close to the rear of the cabin. So this one is the exact position as much or as closer as to the front of the cabin, again, like a tractor. So please try to do it like this. So the installation is not that much difficult. It's so easy compared to the tractor because it's a big machine and we have too much space in it. So if you install it properly, now you will commission or power up the system. At that point, you may have two scenarios here. Either a farmer may already use this system in his tractor before and want to transfer the system to their harvesters. Again, you need to know that we today have the opportunity to order our new extension, easy extension set. For instance, the structure can be installed separate from the tractor, or directly we can transfer antenna and the other components to the other mechanical parts. So if you had already used this system on a tractor, you should turn the system into harvester mode. Now we have a 1 minute video. Let's see it together, watch it together. So in order to convert it or the close and open with an harvester mode, you should open the Android side and settings. Then you should choose the storage menu. And please find other apps section here. Then choose our app. Finally, press on clear storage button here. If the system is synchronized, what it means, you are connecting to internet, it is stored in the cloud, that if you have some borders or AB lines in the system with the tractors, you can directly transfer or use it in the harvester as well. Now, at that point, either you have refreshed or cleared your previous screens, or you will open a new one for a harvester. For these two will be the same thing for the first commissioning or opening system. In order to register from the beginning, you will see the login page. Of course, if you want to use it in another place, you have to register first. Or if you already used it in the tractor, you can use your same account. Instead of tractor this time, you will choose harvester as a vehicle type. And you should also enter depending on the brand and model to distinguish in the backend. And at the end, you will get such kind of screen on your tablets. Instead of tractor, you will have harvester. Okay, here you can say that the harvester icon is not like a combine harvester, is something like different right now. And we may some small box here as well. We will help on this during installations. So, but as I said, the most important part is here. If you choose no angle sensor mode, even you should choose at the beginning, if you don't have an extension cable, you will install this harvester without angle sensor. So now, today, we are going to a little bit dig what we haven't seen so far from the tractors most of the time, because it's not a big machine like a harvester. So most of the time we are using attitude angle sensor from the box. So this time we should choose no angle sensor, and then we have two fields. By default, the values are, the first one is the steering speed ratio is 16, and the other one is the maximum steering is 50 degrees. So what it means, actually, the ratio is a manufacturing or design parameter. depending on the vehicle. This time you should know that what is the steering ratio of this type of vehicles. Sometimes you may see that the front axle have been steered more than normal, or you have seen the New Holland super steer system on the front axle, for instance. So that means normal tractors or vehicles steered around 50-55 degrees, mostly to one side. But in order to turn to 50 degrees to a tractor to one side, you should turn your steering wheel maybe 2 or 3 full turn. That means, for instance, as an example, if you turn complete turn of the steering wheel for one turn, turns your tires 24 degrees. Then when you divide these two, steering wheel to the tires degrees, you will get some numbers. Here might be 15. So why it is 16? By default, if it is the front axle is around 55 degrees, and you will turn it 2.5 turn on the steering wheel, you will basically get 16 degrees. So this is by default. If the system or the vehicle doesn't have different angles on the tires or extra benefits like super steer axles, no need to change all of these things. But if you see on the field that there are some vehicles having more steering on the tire, larger than 50-55 degrees, this time you may need to change it to the lower position, because on the same way, you will turn your steering wheel around 2 or 3 times, full turn, but this time, instead of 50-55 degrees, as an example, super steer axles will turn 76 degrees here like this. This time, the parameters would be like around 12 for the ratio, and the maximum limit should be around 70. Even nowadays, there are some new tractors or the vehicles giving some benefits to the farmers and shorter distance to turn. That's why there are variable systems. They have the variable systems. We will work on that together later to improve our system effectiveness. That's why at the beginning, no need to change something, but even you can also deduct the ratio on the field as well. So if you don't know how to calculate or what are the ratios here, then you can deduct it and look at the values here. But by default, no need to change most of the time these ratios, but you should be aware of what it is and what it means. Then if you use no angle sensor, you can be aware of if it is turned more than 50-55 degrees or less than, then you may need to change these values as well. So during the operation, you should be on the level ground and you should drive the harvester around 2-3 kilometers per hour for deduction. It will take around 30-40 seconds. So that is the main distinction between the tractor, because it's so easy, attitude angle sensor. But if you have the extension cable, the accuracy will be higher and perfect compared to the no angle sensor. But for the higher speeds, even no angle sensor or attitude angle sensor doesn't have too much difference. What we the lower speeds. Most of the time, I have realized that the lowest speed for a harvester is around 3.5 kilometers per hour, something, depending on the plant type. So let's continue with the attitude sensor. Attitude sensor is so not a big issue actually. The important thing is the baud rate, depending on your pin type. If it is 4 or 12 pins, then you should change your baud rate depending on that. And be sure that on the troubleshooting page, it should be green marked as well. Because we have 2 different types, and we may also check this attitude sensor is commissioned or installed well or calibrated, let's say. So attitude sensor is an easy but no angle sensor because of the longest size of the vehicle. We need to install the system without angle sensor. So let's come to the measurements here. There is some conflict here at the beginning. The first vehicle measurement is front axle track, but if you look at the icon or the drawing, you may conflict that this is the length of the cutting table or blade. So this is not, this is the actually distance between 2 tires, front axle. So you cannot enter more than 3.5 meters. If you want to enter here 5 meters, you cannot enter. And please realize that this is not the width of implement, front implement. This is shown here, the front axle track. So it may confuse you. Just keep in mind that. So let's see what happens when we try to enter, for instance, 3.5 meter here. It accepts, but on the other hand, if you enter 3.6 this time, there will be a prompt. It's out of normal range. Please check it again. So it is limited with the 3.5 meter. Okay. Let's go to other one. This is so easy, actually, between the 2 axle distance, wheelbase, let's say, and the front carrier or the cutting table to the front axle.
Okay. Hello, sorry for being late.
And this one is also not confusing. It's so easy. But at that point, you will see that it's not like a combine harvester or nowadays or the final versions of the vehicle. Our vehicle is different than that. There is only one side positioning of the antenna here from the axle. There is no left or right like a tractor. That's why you may have some difficulty while putting the antenna on the roof of the harvester. You will enter something here. But if you have 0, doesn't matter actually. While calibrating, the antenna calibration, it should be entered some value here. At that time, you may need for this version to an FAE or from the group while installing that, you will say or send a message that, okay, please 2 centimeters to the right. From the backend side, we can enter this value and send the vehicle. Or if you have your remote assistant platform, you can directly do it yourself. So in order to make a differentiation other than the central axis, which is not 0, then it should be reviewed and entered from the backend and sent to the vehicle for this version. For the following versions, it will be corrected and solved. And this one also has some issue here because the length is limited somehow again. In order to give the correct value, you may need your remote assistant platform or FAE in the ground. These two is a little bit problematic for the time being, but we have a solution for that for this time, and we will correct it. It's a small bug. So this one is not an issue actually. Directly you can measure and enter it. But another thing is steering wheel is not shown correctly in this icon. When you choose the rear wheel, it is still shown on the front wheel. So do not pay attention to that. It is the front, it is the exact real wheel, but it's not shown in the drawing. On the other hand, if you set this as a rear wheel, and if you ask for the change of the antenna positioning or the distance, after correcting and pushed by the backend or the server side, then your steering wheel will be changed to the front again. So after inserting all of these things, if you make a different entry from the server side, you should check that or change it to the rear wheel again. So this one should be done the latest. Most of the time we have finished some of the installations and have some trouble for 1 hour because the system has changed this one to the front wheel again. That's why it's not entering to the line or wrong. So please be aware of this for this version. And of course, we will correct it and solve it in the following, which is very close for the next versions. So this one is an easier thing, actually. Even the turning radius for the U-turn functionality is important, and it is measured by the center to the outer part of the vehicle, like a tractor. So when we come to the parameter section, actually, the approach aggressiveness and online aggressiveness is like a tractor. Not much difference again. Most of the time we want to enter the line very rapidly or short period of time, in a small time, let's say. And the online aggressiveness is not so aggressive. So 0.8, 0.7 is okay. Even you may start with 1 in this part. As a vehicle, a harvester is not a rear moving machine by generally, so no need to change most of the time these third and fourth parameter aggressiveness values. Again, for the motor debugging part, you may leave it by default as 20-25, or depending on the behavior, for the lower speeds, you may increase this p-value. If the speed is, or the task speed is higher than the 5 or 6 km/h, no need to change this p-value more than that. Of course, there's a vehicle calibration stage, which is exactly the same with tractors. Just you will, after installation and commissioning, start calibration. And at the end, you will see the offsets of roll and pitch angles of the antenna. So basically, the harvester are not a problematic vehicle just because of our some parameters or the values limited by the system. You may have some confusion that because some of our colleagues or dealers have already faced such things, but now they can easily install like a tractor. Now we are on the question and answer side. Please feel free to ask. Let me answer these two questions first. Do we have also advanced mode in this harvester mode? Yes, we have the same, exactly the same with tractors. Even when you convert it from a tractor, you will also see the boundaries, fields, and AB lines on the field management section. Yes, these two questions has been answered already. Yes, now it's your turn. I'm waiting your questions right now. How many of you have installed on a harvester? Emil, here?
I thought it's rather for our customers question, but okay. So including the Deutschfire with you, it will be like 4 in Poland already working. For
Yes,
harvester,
four.
all succeeded.
All succeeded. John Deere?
Yes, at the end.
Deutschfire?
John Deere, 2 Deutschfire and 2 Class, Lexion
Class.
and 2 Kano.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
So.
it was not difficult actually, other than the mechanical installation, a little bit extra modification needed.
Yes,
other part is very easy.
Yes, that's the part like need to concentrate. Maybe just come one day before the installation, make sure this spline sleeve is fit. If no, just to arrange something, to reconsider place where there's not much place or there's not much design place for the monitor. So maybe you can think in advance where to place your monitor. Sometimes there is not. Just mainly the mechanical part to reconsider if you want to.
What do you think about the market actually? What was the reason to install on a harvester?
First of all, our system is more than half price of the trimble one. So if you're using the harvester, you're using just mainly weeks, maybe not even months. You're using for weeks. So if you can buy affordable price unit for 2.5 centimeters or better even, so I think it's a good thing to buy to consider this one, because the tractor you mainly use all year long, just harvester just few weeks, maybe months. So
farmers have a decision to buy one unit for their harvesters as well.
Yeah. So mostly they buy one unit for the harvester because it's not so expensive. Still, if they want to shift it from harvester to the tractor, still possible. A little bit playable, you know. You need to be a bit like installational site skills, but it's doable.
Yeah. How about the others? Do you think that you have a space in your market to sell this unit to harvesters? Milos, are you here? I saw it somewhere. Milos not answer yet. How about Walters, you? We started with you. Do you have your space in your market?
Yes, we will, I guess, find a customer for the harvesters as a harvester season actually just started with us. So
okay.
So,
do you have a chance to make a demo, something like that, or to communicate with the farmers about harvester installations?
Yes, but I have just one more unit available just for the tractor. So if I mean the wires are can be too short.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
But I will try to do something also this year for
yeah. It's so important because we have all seen that and we succeeded as well with the harvesters, even with these versions. Of course, we will improve this scannery, tablet and parameter screen, whatever, all will be refurbished. And even with this one, we have a great success for the harvesters and they are all happy actually. More than 30 units all around the world has been installed with this season. Even the biggest ones and different types of forage harvesters, not we have mentioned here too much, but even the rear steel-driven vehicles like combine harvesters. At the beginning, I told you that we are not just talking about the combine harvesters, but this is big machinery, and most of the time we will see this one, but there are also small ones as well, even movers, something like that. So we have a great potential on the harvester vehicle type, which is the rear axle-driven vehicles with this.
Yes, from my experience, it was just a bit of stress on us, but the end customer at the end was always satisfied.
Yeah.
With the price, with the quality, with the signal strength, so everything was fine. So definitely we can do a good job with harvesters, any type, just maybe some hardware, new
How about the
installations.
others? Gabriel, do you have any idea about harvester installations? I can see you here.
Hello, first of all.
Hello.
Not yet. I didn't have.
Do you have a potential in your markets for the harvesters?
For sure.
Yeah, sure. So, is your season started or finished?
So it started. We have a good marketing in Romania, and probably we will install until autumn more devices, more tractors. Not harvester yet, but after your webinar, we will have more information and we can afford to this.
You will see many videos on social medias from our other colleagues that on the harvester, because the Poland and Belgium has done great videos on that for marketing. You may also check that and share with your clients as well.
Okay. Good idea.
Yeah, because you may not always find a possibility to install one harvester, but you will see or share these contents directly to the farmers, and they will understand what's going on.
Yes, for the tractors we use already.
Yeah.
Some movies from social media. We have our own movie. Also, do you know, with Stefan, a young and clever guy. But
I'm sure our sales team will share with you. Yeah, I'm sure our sales team will share all of you these types of videos.
Okay.
Even maybe you have seen the promotional. What was that? Actually, sorry. Yeah, this one. The most trendy auto steer in this year is like this, actually, but we have different types of brands and models and different types of tractions. So we have really good views or videos for that. So you may directly use it. Okay. Is there anyone who want to share their experiences, or is there any other questions about the harvester installation in your mind? Marius, are you here?
I haven't installed yet any harvesters.
Installed already?
No, we haven't installed any.
Installed yet. Okay.
Yeah.
But you have a potential, right?
Not yet.
Okay, of course not yet.
But
you have some customers having harvesters.
Yes, but we had one question to mount on old Russian tractor, so Vector. So it's a little bit complicated, I think.
If you have some trouble, we can together solve it, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Later from the training or another day, whenever you wish, we are here to help you. You're welcome. Thank you. And is there anyone from the Mexican team? Fabian, do you have any other experience on harvesters you would like to share with us?
Hi, Dinser. Hi, teacher. In Mexico, usually every year arrive to maybe 500 to 600 used harvesters from
Perfect.
USA. So we have a huge potential in the market. But
Yes.
right now, we don't have any installation right now in Mexico, but the market is huge in the whole country.
Mhm. We just started actually for the tractors, and now we have reached to the harvesting season. That's why everybody is aware of the installation on harvesters. We have seen many occasions, so and we succeeded. Then we all can try on this type of machineries as well, in order to widen our market.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Listen, I came to this meeting a few minutes delayed. Delayed. I have a question. In the
Yeah.
installation in the harvesters, you don't no need to install the angle sensor.
Well, actually, yeah, actually, we have two possibilities. Actually, I cannot say no need, because the angle sensor responsibility is highly related with the speed, you know, for the lower speeds. For the correction side, you need to install a sensor, either attitude or a Hall sensor. When you slow down to 2 km/h, for instance, or 1 km/h, you should be around, you should install the attitude angle sensor as well. But at the beginning, if you have a tractor kit, you won't have the extension cable. So at the end, you have to install that kit on that harvester without angle sensor. That's why I told it at the beginning. But if the task is higher than 6 km/h, then the speed is enough for driving without sensor.
Perfect. Thank you so much, teacher.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for your question too. Perfect. Petri, do you have any questions?
These are regarding the cable
Yeah.
of the angle sensor. It's not a very special cable. It's CAN bus,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not so complicated to cut it and to insert. I don't know how many meters.
Well, actually, you know, we
in
are,
a professional way to connect
yeah.
and to make.
Otherwise, we cannot guarantee that it will work perfectly.
Yeah,
The-
if it CAN bus cable, the same quality, the same producer.
Yeah.
The connections, very good one.
Mhm. If you
I
can
have some
succeed,
experience
you
with
may
CAN
try,
bus.
but I don't suggest you that this one, it's not, it's nearly cheap one. So for the next season or the following days, you may order some of these, and you will see that it's an easy thing instead of working by the side of a farmer, cutting and adding each other. But it's easy to take it out on a nylon pochette and install it directly. It's from the business side, it's good looking.
Okay, I agree.
Thank you.
Just technically aspect.
Yeah.
It's not
it may
impossible.
happen like that.
It's not
Technically, it
impossible.
may happen like that. Yeah. Walters, yes, please. Do you have any question?
Yes, my question is regarding recording on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
When the harvester operator is lowering the header,
Mm-hmm.
how is actually it's showing on a screen? Is it only?
So let me share my.
Is it recording going on only when the header is down, like in?
This is a live view of a tablet right now.
Yeah.
So what do you want to see? The front side? You see? So you are saying that the front attachment is lifted up, right?
The question is regarding when the operator is doing a real job. They are harvesting the crop, and
Okay.
then on screen it should be showing, of course, AB lines, and then the gray color where they have harvested.
Yeah. Okay.
How
Right.
how is it going? Do they have to push it button again manually, or it's going automatically? Have it actually?
Okay, got it. Actually, this time we have another option, the easy control. Have you ever heard it, or are you aware of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, with that, it's easier. Controlling is easier with that. But on the other hand, sorry for this. Mute. Yeah, it's from ML. So actually, if you start, for instance, oops, that shows us what it is. Okay, or not. May I ask to unmute yourself?
Dinger, I think Walters is asking something else. He's asking if we are
No,
still
blue.
counting the hectares while
Okay.
harvesting. So
You had shared before.
yeah,
Now,
I mean,
we are
I
doing
experienced
this.
that.
Yeah, okay. You are asking this one. Like this, still
Still counting hectares, even
waiting
if it's
something,
not.
right?
Okay, that could be part of the question.
Yeah.
My wish, one of the first wish when I start with a Sverwecken was, can developers made just one I don't know, 10 euro cost. It's cost absolutely nothing. Switch, mechanical switch, but you can add on installation, and it should be connected somewhere to the wires, which switch on and off this recording button automatically with tractor and with the harvester. That's cost absolutely nothing.
Nothing, right? Yeah, actually, what you want is to direct connection to the position of any part of a vehicle. For instance, from the rear any implement, or for a harvester case from the front implement, let's say attachment. So when it is lifted up, the system should automatically stops recording. That's a good feedback. Okay, we have already talked about it a little bit more on the last week. So we will, concentrate on that feedback again. Thank you very much for your point. Okay, we got it.
Just to remark, there's so many GPS systems available in the market, and basically, let's face it, reality, all of them are doing the same job. Some cost less, some cost much more, but the smallest details is doing the difference. For choosing. And if we have those small details available, then we are much more ahead.
Yes, exactly.
It's so simple for sales.
Exactly, you're right. So that's why we are always improving our system day by day. So end of this month, most probably we'll have the new version, and we will have too many new features as well. So to compete with the market in a reasonable price, and the demand actually needed at the first hand is important here. So actually we have improved many features and corrected many bugs, fixed so far. You will see all of these things, and also we need your feedbacks and improvement points or suggestions like this. Thank you very much again. So you're right at the end. Thank you, Walter, again. Okay, is there anybody who would like to share his ideas with us, or any questions? I think no.
Hi, Dinser.
I
Just want to know if you are going to share with us this PPT document, this presentation, Dinser. It's a good, very
yes,
good material to have.
yeah, yes, absolutely. I will share, and we will also put the videos on a YouTube channel.
Perfect. Thank you, Dinser.
You're welcome, Cristobal. So no need to fear from the harvester side. It's really easy. Just the installation, mechanical installation may have some difficulty at the beginning, especially for the long cables, and some mechanical improvements may be needed at the beginning, but later you will directly commission and take into action. No need to fear from this vehicle.